And I'm having problems getting the box up here because it's from the browser. There it is. Sorry about that. All right, let's see who's in here. I see Al and Derek, Laverne, and myself. So we do have our quorum. I don't see Josh. Do I, Rui?
No, I can text him if you want.
I'm just making sure I didn't. Okay. Nope.
Amanda, can you shoot that text?
Are there any reasons to adjust the agenda? Did anybody see anything?
No.
All right. If not, let's jump right into the 2026 Councilmanic redistricting.
So thank you, Mr. President. So as you know, with the councilmanic redistricting, to increase the number of council seats from 7 to 9, we had to complete the redistricting process. So in it was required by sections 206 and 207 of the Baltimore County Code and in compliance with Bill 5525 that gave us the lines for the 9 new council districts. We also had to complete the Board of Education districts. So we, in effect, redistricted twice. So I want to first, before we move on, acknowledge my staff and their hard work on this project. Normally 6 to 8 months to redistrict the jurisdiction our size, and we did it in less than 6 weeks, which is phenomenal. Especially it was through Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's holiday. They worked long hours. Many of them did not take time off and actually lost time at the end of the year so that we could get this finished. So Amanda, Cody, Gordon, Cindy, Morgan, and the rest of actually me too. I was on the redistricting team. I hope they know how much I appreciate, and I know the board appreciates their hard work and diligence on the redistricting. So having said that, what we had, once we finished the expansion to 9 council districts, we had to redistrict the Board of Education districts because they remained at 7. Historically, as you know, the Board of Education districts have mirrored the council districts. So they've never been separated out. They've been the same lines as our past council districts. So every precinct is made up of 4 lines, which is the election district lines, which never change, councilmanic, legislative, and congressional. Now we have that 5th line, which is Board of Education, because again, they remained at 7. So we completed the process and we did several proofs prior to doing the work in the statewide voter registration system. When we completed the work in the statewide voter registration system, we proved several times, including manually checking every street address in Baltimore County, which was a huge undertaking. I provided the descriptions to the board. Once they're adopted, we'll have the descriptions available on our website. But so basically, what I need the board to do is to adopt the resolution to or adopt the redistricting that we completed with those 5 lines and the boundaries that I sent for you or sent to you electronically. I have them here if anybody has a question on any of those. I also sent to you, and Amanda will put on the screen, the 7 councilmanic districts. The original 7 is the first map she's going to share. And this was all sent to you electronically.
Give me 1 second.
Yep.
Sorry.
Take your time. You're fine. No worries. Okay, so the first map, this shows the 7 original districts that we had. And in that district, the lines that came together to make the precinct, that was our 243 precincts that were established in 2022, and then again, of course, used in the 24 election cycle. The next map that we'll show you, these are the seven, this map shows those 243 precincts. So the way that the precincts are identified is by their district and their precinct. In Baltimore County, we have 15 election districts. And so that's what the first two numbers represent, the election district. The second two numbers represent the precinct number for that election district. And I just wanted to provide the past map so that you could see the difference after we redistrict. So once the redistricting was completed and the 9 council districts were established, as well as establishing now Board of Education districts that are independent and separate from the council district. Amanda's showing you the map with the precincts that now increased to 258 precincts. The reason, although it's cost more money, obviously, to have more precincts, a precinct, everybody in that precinct must vote the same ballot style. So that's why we had no choice but to increase the number of precincts because of the way the lines came with the Board of Ed and the new council districts. The next item that I wanted to show you, that's the Board of Ed districts. As you can see, that remained at 7. And then the final thing is showing you the districts, the precincts in their election district. That's the final map. Excuse me. The last thing that I provided to the board, and that's in the meeting documents, is the 2026 polling place location list. I know that as far as my office is concerned, because we had working copies, but obviously it's proposed until the board completes the process today. But before you do that process, I'd ask that you we go over the resolution for the redistricting. So the resolution basically says, we, the undersigned, comprised of the members of the Baltimore County Board of Elections, resolve and agree that the following board resolution was made on the 7th day of January 2026 at a special meeting of the board held virtually and available for public viewing and comment for the purpose of redistricting the councilmatic districts of Baltimore County in accordance with the increase from 7 to 9 council districts beginning with the 2026 election and as required by sections 206 and 207 of the Baltimore County Charter and in compliance with Bill 5525 of the Baltimore County Code, the Board of Elections completed the process. Further, the Board of Education districts have historically mirrored the councilmatic districts, and therefore the redistricting process included separating and establishing the 7 Board of Education districts. For the 2026 gubernatorial election cycle, the election plan for polling place locations was established, which includes an increase in number of precincts from 243 to 258. And a list of those 258 precincts is provided. So what I ask for the board to do is to adopt this resolution and then move on to the polling place plan.
All right. So just to make sure, Rui, was anybody signed up to speak on this particular issue only from the public?
No.
All right.
Not on redistricting, no.
Okay. Because we do have this as public viewing. Anybody can see this. This has been available. And then we did have this posted so those that wanted to make public comment could sign up. And you've received none, correct? Right?
No, I did receive some, but when we get to polling places, I can talk to you about that, if that's okay.
Okay. Yep. All right. Seeing that.
Can you go back to, Amanda, can you go back and make the screen so we can see the chat in case somebody puts something in the chat? I want to make sure that if they have a comment, I want to make sure Will knows about it. Okay, thank you. Yep.
All right. Seeing that. Is there a motion someone would like to make to move forward with this resolution for us approving this resolution?
I make a motion to move forward with the resolution
All
And
right.
adopt the redistricting.
and adopting the redistricting plan.
All right. Derek has motioned. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Al has seconded. Is there any further discussion amongst the board? If not, just to make it easier for me than everybody speaking, because I can see everybody, all those in favor, can you raise your hand? Perfect. And I do see all 4 board members raising their hand. Thank you. It's unanimous. I'll ask just to make sure. No against. All right. The resolution does pass. All right. That will take us to our next agenda item, the 2026 election plan. This is going to be part 3, polling place locations. And we'll start really with the review discussion.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. President. So, as I explained, the precinct or where the lines come together, the polling, place is the building that the voters go to cast their ballot. So the list that I provided, is, what we determined the best location. We did everything possible for voters to continue to vote where they're used to voting, historically have voted. Of course, we had to increase again, and I feel like I'm being redundant, but I just hope everybody understands. We did increase by 15 polling places. So there may be some voters who now go to a new location. We are going to send all voters a voter notification card advising them of their polling location, whether it remains the same or whether it's new. We're also going to put up signage and have greeters and things like that to be able to assist the voters. As much as possible, we used schools because schools are our best. Can you let schools are our best building type to use? They meet all the ADA qualifications and restrictions, and also everybody's pretty much familiar with schools in their community. There are still a few private polling locations, but we tried as much as possible to use the schools. There were some changes due only to new construction or renovations being made at schools. I believe it was 9 buildings are going to be under construction, so we weren't able to use them. So we put the voters in locations as close as possible to their home. None of those changes does the voter have to go more than about a mile further than maybe they did before. And actually, a few of the changes put them a little bit closer to their home. The other notable change that we made is we're no longer going to use the Ag Center. I don't know if you all remember, but there's historically problems at the Ag Center, not sufficient parking, and there's federal offices and other offices in that building that use the parking. So then that really reduces the parking. If we park in the field when it rains, that's not good. So we actually found we're able to use a school now. And Mary Frances, remind me of the name of the school. Mays Chapel Elementary. Yeah. Mays Chapel Elementary, which turns out to be closer to our voters anyway. So it was a win-win in that situation. Other than that, there are no other notable changes. And again, I have in the works and have a plan once this is approved to send every voter in Baltimore County their voter notification card. And it will separate out their school board districts, so they will know now what school board district, as well as their new council district and their polling place, whether it remains the same. Mary Frances and I and Amanda are also going to work on making sure that we have signage at any building that may be under construction. Possibly the construction hasn't started yet or whatever, so we can notify the voters if they do go to the wrong polling place. And with that, I'll take questions from the board first, and then we can talk about the public comment.
All right. Are there any questions from the board members?
And I'm sorry, I meant to note one other thing. Every location has been surveyed, for, to make sure that we know what we need if there are different obstacles, like maybe the door that the voter enters is on the side. We've taken surveys, to be able to get enough signage and anything that we need, in that regard, for all of the for all 258 polling places.
All right, I'll double check. Is there any questions and consideration? Go ahead.
Roy, did we keep the school board redistricting areas same as it is presently? You redraw those lines as well?
I did not redraw the line. So yes, I mirrored the 7 council districts, what they've historically followed. We mirrored those lines and called them Board of Ed districts. But we still had to redistrict because then the precinct came together different. Does that make sense?
No.
So I used the existing 2022 7 council district lines that were also Board of Ed lines. I kept those same lines, did not redraw any line. Those are now the board, simply only the Board of Ed lines.
So those lines would stay the same?
Yes.
Okay. You now have, with Board of Ed having 7 districts and the council now having 9, you're going to have areas where a person would be on a ballot for Board of Education, but there would be a different council person they'd be running for.
That's correct.
Okay, so you allowed for that to, in your notification to the voters, other voting locations, as well as the potential for, so some of those districts are going to have 2 ballots played with instead of normal.
No, they would just still have 1. And that's what I was saying. That's why we went up to 258. Everybody within that precinct votes the same ballot style. Because those Board of Education lines and the new council lines caused a bunch of splits and cuts, that's why we had to increase to 258 to ensure there's only 1 ballot style. And that ballot style includes every contest that every voter in that precinct is eligible to vote.
So there are no districts where 2 councilmen would actually be in the same
There's no
area as the
precinct,
election?
no. In every precinct, there, if it's vote for one, every precinct only has the contest for that precinct.
Okay, I know, I
Yeah,
understand.
I know it is confusing, and it is gonna be confusing to our voters. It took us a minute to say, okay, this is brand new. Nobody's ever had to do this across the state. Nobody's ever had to do this. Okay, so let's make sure we do this correctly. So that's why we mirrored the council districts first and established those. They're same lines, but we established those lines. And then we put the council district lines over. We already had congressional and legislative and election. And then all of those 5 lines coming together made the precinct. So everybody within there votes the same thing.
So there is no, as you said already, there is no district or precinct that may have 2 council persons where they come together. There's none of that. You've broken those out.
Yes, we have. Yep. And as far as education and trying to explain to the voters, the Board of Ed is now going to be listed out separate on the voter notification card. And forever in the past, we haven't had that because it's been the same as the council districts. So everybody, for whatever reason, it never was. Now it will be listed out. It'll say, and this is just an example, you might be in council district 9, but you're in Board of Education district 7. It's going to say that you're in congressional, whatever, you're in legislative, you're in council, and you're in Board of Ed district, right on their voter notification card. And then we're going to do, Mary Francis, we have a lot of plans for social media and trying to get that information out to voters. And I'm going to add another section in the sample ballot, the practice ballot that goes out, reminding everybody that the Board of Education is now does not mirror the council, and to please note your Board of Education district.
Okay.
I'm not sure what else we can do because they've always voted, you know, it's always been on the ballot, so I'm not sure what else I can do, other than that, you know, to try to explain it to people, because I do understand that it is confusing.
Like people like this trouble.
Yeah.
A question.
Yes.
Is there a contingency plan if one of these, that we have allotted, say has a fire or there's a problem, a flood, whatever?
Yeah.
Then there's a contingency plan to step back up for,
Yes, we do. Similar to early voting, we have the emergency contingency early voting sites. We have that too with the schools. And it's another school that's in that area. So yes, we do have.
We can, if they're probably, we can still keep on moving.
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely. Voting never stopped. We figure it out. Yes, yes. And there was actually a fire a couple elections ago at, I can't remember what.
Fullerton.
Where was it?
Fullerton.
No, not during early voting. It was an election day file at the Essex
Essex
Co-op.
Co-op.
Essex Co-op had a fire, so they had no electricity. So almost the night before the election, we had to switch it and go to the armor and notify all the voters. So we had the whole process and we practiced it once before. So yes, so yes, that is a, something that we take care of and it's in the contingency plan. And it's also in my disaster recovery that I'll present to you in February and March.
All right. Are there any other questions from the board? All right, Rui, this would also be time for public comments.
That's correct. So first, I'd like to ask anybody that is on the call, and you do not have your full name, if you could please direct message Amanda. That way we need your name for the minutes. There's a couple people with just their first name. But Jolie, I know who you are. But the other person, if you could please, that's Josh. That's yeah. But it's Rizzy, I think. Yeah, if you could let us know your last name for the minutes, that would be wonderful. So President Fuhrer and board, I did not receive any requests for public comment. I know you're going to open it up anyway for public comment on the polling places. However, I did receive two, I think Ms. Huffman has her hand raised. I did receive two requests to make comments, but the requests were for things that were not include. This is a special meeting held for this specific purpose. So I explained to both of those individuals that I answered their questions. I did that they were going to address at the meeting, but I also explained that there's a regular meeting in February if they'd like to be added to the agenda to let me know. I know. But Ms. Dorsey Walker is one of the people that wants to speak on something that's not the polling place plan. So what I'm trying to say is if the board would like to, it's up to you all if you want to open it up. But I just want to say that there's other people that I told no, and they followed the rule and said, okay, and they're willing to speak in February. So it's up to you all. I'm letting you know the request that I did receive.
Okay.
And as
yes,
far as
well,
I can tell, Ms. Huffman wants to speak about the polling places.
yep. So what I'll do is I will open the floor for public comment on polling place locations. So if you have something related to polling place locations, which is what we're discussing now, then I will open the floor. And I don't see the hand raised, Rui, but you said Ms. Huffman is first?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
If you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, we typically do about 2 minutes, 2 to 3. So if you could try to keep it within to there, if that's possible.
Absolutely. Thank you, President. So I just want to clarify in my comment to ask to speak, I did specifically mention about a polling place, and that's what I'll be speaking about today. I was specifically speaking about the Middle River polling place last year, and on this in the November meeting, I was under the impression. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ms. Hoffman, that is early voting. This is only election day polling places.
Okay, well then I
So,
digress. I can
but-
wait till the next meeting.
Yes, ma'am, but I want you to also know that we share your desire, both to expand to 12 and also move from, Victory Villa. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have that happen this year due to, limitations we have on the number of equipment. There is no more available equipment. Our poll books are from 2006. We're getting new poll books. We're also getting new voting equipment, and my plan is to order enough to secure enough to be able to have an additional site if we're able to find a building that's available. So, and I've shared that same information with Miss Dorsey Walker. But this is only election day polling places, so I'm sorry. But I can still add you to February if you want to, talk in February about the same, the same thing, but know that it is our desire as well. We share that, that desire with you.
Thank you, then I'll yield.
Thank you. We appreciate your public comment and your public input. All right, the screen is small, but I do believe Miss Dorsey Walker, you've got your hand up, right? I'm trying to.
I do.
All right, if you could you move a little closer? Because I think you're a little bit further away from the mic for me, so it's kind of softer. If you just maybe move up around where Rui is, that would help me to hear it better too.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Good morning, all. I'm Linda Dorsey Walker. Yes, I did share 7 different questions that I was hoping Ms. Lavoy would share with everyone so that everyone would be aware of the questions that the public had asked me to ask on their behalf, including the use of the Solid Point Multipurpose Center for early voting as it's been used in the past. But my question regarding a specific election polling place is also among those questions. Previously, the Owensville Library site was used as a polling place.
For
When
early
this-
voting.
Yeah, for early voting.
This is election
I
day.
understand.
Okay,
but-
yes, but you're asking about early voting. It's not fair, Ms.
No,
Dorsey
but,
Walker.
you
I
haven't-
said no to 2 other people.
Well, I'm not. You're not letting me ask a question. Is this site not open for regular election? This site, the Board of Elections.
No, it is not an election day polling place. This site, it's not on the list.
Okay, so that was my question. I wanted to find out about this site being used versus, I know at one point, I think you all were discussing a location in Towson. Is that off the table? Or
I'm
where
not
does
sure
that
what you
stand?
mean for election day. There are several locations, polling locations. In
No,
Dallas.
I think it was at the November meeting. What came up was the possibility of using the courthouse or somewhere near the old courthouse. Is that still under consideration? or-
No, the list is right here. The 258 polling places are on this list. So I'm not sure. I don't know for the election day polling place, not ballot boxes,
I
not
understand.
early voting.
I
So
understand.
I think you're asking about a ballot box now. The question you had was the ballot box in Towson.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Basically-
let's stick to only. This is a special meeting for polling place location. So let's.
all right, well, my
Are there-
questions, my questions dealt with not just the polling places, ballot boxes, but also clearances through the administration of the county, whether they were apprised or will be apprised of the final plan before it goes to the state board.
They already have. I worked with the administration. We've been working on this for months and months and months.
Right, the administration does help us to use schools and rec centers and all those. So Rui works very closely with the executive team from the executive office, and all of the council members are apprised of all of the steps, and we do take their feedback as well as all the public comments very seriously.
Okay, because the reason I had asked is because she had written that the administration did not want her to use or would include on the list the Solid Point multipurpose.
That's correct. It was not available. And we're back to talking about early voting. So I just think it's unfair that several people asked to speak. And when I told them I'm sorry, this meeting is specifically for election day polling places. They understood and are willing to speak in February, or they took the answers that I took the time this morning to email back. But again, you're bringing up early voting. Early voting is not, we're not discussing that today. And these questions I detailed, gave you an answer by email this morning. So I guess I'm just confused because we keep straying off of polling places, and today's meeting is for polling places. And it's not fair to allow you to speak on ballot boxes or early voting, but I had to tell other people no, and they did not join the meeting, or they're not asking to speak because they understand that that's the procedure and the specific purpose for this meeting.
Yeah, so the board business today is polling place locations only. So are there any further comments on polling place locations only, not early voting, not drop boxes, anything off, because that's what this special meeting is for.
No, I will defer my further comments and send them forward to other entities. But thank you so much.
All right, thank you. I don't see anybody else. I didn't see any hands raised before, so am I missing anybody's hands raised? Rui or Amanda?
No, I don't see it. Amanda, can you just check the chat for me? And maybe direct message Ricky and ask?
I got Rissy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But
Okay,
there's a Joe in the meeting. Did Joe send over a name?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't see, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see anybody else making any public comments.
And nobody in the chat, Amanda said, okay.
No.
All right. Since that is done, can we, as a board, come back and make a motion and a second, and then we'll take a vote to approve these locations as presented and sent out to us electronically?
I move that we accept the locations that were sent to us electronically,
The 258.
the 258 polling sites for election day.
All right. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
All right.
Al had second, Will.
Perfect. Derek motioned, Al second, to approve the 258 polling locations that were sent to us electronically, and we did have on the screen and we did review. Is there any further questions or comments or discussions from the board? All right. If not, I'd like to do the hand. Oh, go ahead.
Before the board voted, I just would like to explain the process to not only determine or designate a polling place is it's not just a one and done or easy process. We look at maps that include voter diversity, voter density, voter population, voter turnout. We look at the diverse community, disenfranchised community areas, and when we select locations for early voting, ballot box drops and polling places, all of those factors are taken into consideration. Once they meet those standards, then I move on to a whole new standard and qualifications and regulations and requirements that I have to follow. ADA, are there enough parking spaces? Are there parking spaces after my judges park there? Is there room for electioneering? Where are the candidates going to stand? It is so meticulous and specific that we have to measure how many voters can stand at every station, the check-in station, ballot issuing, voter and scanner, and allowing 18 inches per voter. I know how many windows are there. I make sure that there's a generator. I make sure that, the things that we do, not just for polling places, but early voting, it's not as simple as, why don't you use this building? We also have to consider, is school in session? How many activities and who will be impacted if we completely close that building? Is there room for that equipment to be delivered a week and a half prior to election day? Because Obviously, we can't deliver equipment to 258 locations in Baltimore County in one day. It takes almost 2 weeks for the delivery process. So we have to make sure that there's a secure location to lock the equipment up in all of these buildings. We have to make sure that there's ramps if that's needed. It's just, as the board knows, but I wanted to explain to everybody that's on the meeting, it's not as easy as it would be nice to have a ballot box here or an early voting center here. And then once we determine that it meets all of those factors, I put it all together and present it to the board. I meet with property management, I meet with county OIT, because we even have to check for signal, even though our poll books and our voting system does not transfer the results or the votes. We need a signal to be able to contact the chief judges. So we have to do a test in every one of these locations, and we have to record the signal number for AT&T, for Verizon, for T-Mobile, so we know which cell phone carrier works the best in that location. We have to work with the school board about the cameras inside voting rooms. We have to make sure there's cameras outside there. It's just a lot that goes into it. And I just felt like I needed to explain a little bit more about it. We didn't just say, oh, this building is close to our voters, we're going to use it. That's the start of it. And then, as Mary Frances can attest, she's been the polling place manager for many years. It is a long, extensive process prior to the board even getting my recommendation for a ballot box. We also look at historical voter turnout, whether it's the turnout during a gubernatorial or a turnout during a presidential, because those are very different. We look at how many voters used a ballot box, and then we have to weigh, is it cost efficient? Do we have the budget? Do we have the funds to hire additional early voting judges? Our election judge poll worker budget is $1.3 million an election. So I have to think about things like that. Are we going to need, if we open a new center or a new polling place? Yes, I want to do what I can for the voters, but do I have the money? Do I have the equipment to deploy? And unfortunately, because we're increasing to 258, we have just enough equipment, for this next election. And I'm thankful we're moving to new equipment for 2028. But a lot of things go into the thought. And I know that the board keeps up with my process, and we talk about it as the process is happening. And then you get my recommendation. So thank you, Mr. President, and board members and those on the call for indulging me and allowing me the time to explain the process.
All right, thank you. If not, we've got that motion on the table, and we have Al with a second. Can I see, just so it's easier, those in favor, could you please raise your hands? All right, thank you. It does look like all four unanimous, and there's no against. That's all we have for voting. Is there any other further business that needs to be discussed, Rui?
Not at this meeting, just the next regular board meeting is February 25th at 10 a.m.
All right, so that is the next regular board meeting will be February 25th. For those that are interested in making public comment, please let us know so that we can put that on there. Rui does post the agenda and what we will be discussing. So other concerns and issues that were brought today that it was not the topic of discussion, we'll certainly entertain those in February. Is there any other business that we have? Any board members? All right, if that is the case, then I will ask for a motion for an adjournment.
I think Laverne said. Did Laverne raise her hand? Oh, yeah,
All
I
right.
thought she said.
Laverne has motioned. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, Derek seconds. All those in favor of adjourning, let's see your hands again. All right. Any against? Seeing none, it's unanimous. Thank you all. Thank you, Rui and team, for a phenomenal effort. This is a lot of work. And, I'll reiterate Al was touching on the council and the school boards really, with those changing and not following the same, it does create a lot more work. And it did, as you see, necessitated us adding new polling locations so that people coming into the polling locations didn't have different ballot styles. They have one ballot in that building so that they know what they're voting for very clearly. So thank you, Rui and team, for doing all of that work and getting all of that done. We know how much time and effort and energy it takes into investigating and researching all of these locations so that we can be the best that we can be for our constituents, all of the citizens of Baltimore County. So thank you again. If there's nothing else, we've closed out. We don't have any closed meeting. So the meeting is adjourned. It's 10:43.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And we will see you in February on the 25th.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone.